Hello friends, Duncan here. I'm a traveler and explorer, and I love to tell the stories of my experiences. Today's vlog is something a little different, very personal for me. We'll be taking a ride on my BMW R1200 GS through the beautiful low country of South Carolina to one of the nearby barrier islands, Edisto Beach. Along the way, I'll talk about my intensive 2-year journey becoming a YouTuber and my motivation and also some of the challenges that I've run into. My channel currently has 10,000 subscribers, and although I'm not monetized yet, I'm on the way, and my objectives for becoming a YouTuber were much bigger than that. Along the way, we'll stop by a beautiful church that has a haunting history. It's really an amazing story that I think you'll like. And we'll also go to one of my favorite seafood restaurants and taste some of the local delicacies. So put on your helmet, lace up your boots. You're going to get a behind-the-scenes look at my YouTube channel, Adventures with Duncan. So let's go. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Gonna take a little bike ride today. Beautiful day here in Charleston, South Carolina, located on the southeast coast of the United States. A little cool out this morning, approximately 50 degrees. I guess that would roughly be 10 degrees C. And beautiful day outside, bright sunshine, a little bit of clouds, not too bad at all. And we're going to head to one of my favorite little places to escape to, a place called Edisto Beach. And beautiful little barrier island located off the coast of South Carolina, just south of Charleston. And pretty rustic, very low population. I'll put a map in the overview here just so that you can see generally where it's located. But it seems like always at the end of the year it's a great time to reflect on the past year and kind of assess where you're at in your life and what plans that you have for the future. And I thought that this would be a great time to do it on the bike and completely unscripted, so you're going to get the unfiltered version as we get out and explore. I'd like to reflect on 10 plus years of being a YouTuber. For the past 2 years, really putting a lot of effort into that. Produced, 120, 130 videos and 10,000 subscribers. So I'll talk a little bit about my YouTube journey and where I'm at currently and some of my joys and frustrations of being a YouTuber. Really started back in 2014 is when I uploaded my first YouTube video. So quite a while ago. I've done quite a bit of scuba diving and have made my way up to open water instructor and have quite a few dives under my belt, but I was privileged to be able to go on a dive trip to Galapagos. Quite a expedition to be able to get to Galapagos. Those of you that have traveled there know that it can be a little bit complicated. So a lot of that trip I documented my diving with my GoPro Hero 3 Black with a underwater housing and a selfie stick. And there are 2 videos specifically that I produced and published. One of them was diving with the hammerhead sharks, and the other was diving with whale sharks, and they were both really was really quite an amazing trip, and really enjoyed that. Really had a great time. Beautiful trees, by the way. Really had a great time on that trip. And those were the first two videos that I posted, and you can still, if you go back on my YouTube history, go way back to the very beginning, you'll see those two videos. And I have since reproduced both of those using, let's say, more modern editing techniques, and also putting a little bit more modern music with them. And one of those videos, in fact, is my most popular video so far. I think it's got close to 45,000 views. That one's done very well, so I've been very happy with that. But that was really my first foray into YouTube. I used Apple Movie, or iMovie, I guess it's called, iMovie, to produce those. So the editing was definitely a little rudimentary compared to today, where today I use Adobe Premiere Pro, Epidemic Sound Music, and a lot of different editing tools from different companies. But anyway, that's really where I got my start. And after I uploaded those two videos on YouTube, basically went dormant for, let's say, roughly 8 years. When I retired in 2022, I really wanted to take a nice couple-week trip and really looked at a lot of different options, and at the end of the day decided to go to Baja California Sur in Mexico. And I had a lot of different ideas about how to get there. I thought about driving. Unfortunately, though, the reality is, from where I live in South Carolina, to get from South Carolina to let's say Tecate or Tijuana or Yuma, I've got almost a week of travel just to get there. And then from the California or Arizona border to the tip of Baja, which is where I wanted to go, it's basically another 1 week of travel. Long story short, I made the decision to fly into Cabo San Lucas to SJD Airport and rent a car and make the loop around Baja California Sur by car. And certainly that was a very easy way to go. There are numerous Delta flights back and forth from Charleston, and specifically from Atlanta into Cabo San Lucas, that really made that trip very easy and very straightforward. And I might add, relatively cheap. I think when I took my first trip, I want to say it was roughly 30,000 sky miles, or $300 or $400 round trip or something like that. So Atlanta to Cabo San Lucas is a direct flight, and really that was certainly the way to go. But I really wanted to use that trip to really document my experience, and I spent quite a bit of time planning and looking at the route and looking at where I wanted to go, what interested me. And I ran into something, those of you that have been to Mexico, and specifically to Baja California, know, is there are several cities that are known as pueblos mágicos, or magic cities in English, which have been designated that as a result of their historic, their cultural, their friendliness, and really are fantastic places. And two of those that I really wanted to go to one was a city called Loreto, and the second one was a city called Todos Santos. And I've really fallen in love with both of those cities over time. And fast forward to today, I've done 3 major trips to Baja California Sur, and I will be taking my 4th trip coming up in February. And I'll talk about a little bit more about Baja California Sur in a few minutes, but that was really my motivation for YouTube, was to be able to document. Look at all these beautiful pecan trees and the Spanish moss. Beautiful, just beautiful. But really, I wanted YouTube to be able to document my experiences, and really that's what I've done. That's been my major goal behind my YouTube channel, is to tell the story about these places. And so that's what I've attempted to do over the past 2 years. So my first trip to Baja California Sur was in September of 2022, a little bit over 2 years ago. And that was, by the way, that was for my 65th birthday. So I really enjoyed traveling down there and being able to produce a lot of those videos, and those videos are all available on my YouTube channel if you want to go back and look at those. But I think more than just the pure destination, what YouTube has forced me to do, a lot because I wanted to do it, but what YouTube has caused me to do is really to do a lot of studying and learning and education about producing videos, and more importantly, storytelling, and how to develop stories and put them together and relate them in a way that might be interesting for people. And granted, I've got my own view of the world and my own lens that I see things through. One place that I want to stop that is really very interesting, and this is it right here. And I've stopped at this church several times over the years, and it's really a very historic church. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful, let's say, traditional Southern churches here in the Low Country. And I'd like to give you a little bit of a view of that, because I think it fits in with my YouTube journey perfectly well. And give me just a minute while I transition over here. So we've made it here to Edisto Presbyterian Church. And this is very close in the proximity of Edisto Island, but I think it's really a perfect location for me to talk about my development as a YouTuber because of the history. So you see the sign located here, founded in 1685, and the church was built in 1830. And it is just a traditional, beautiful Southern church. And some of the trees here are just absolutely stunning. I mean, it is so picturesque. But this church, I think, really, for me, was very important. And actually, I did a YouTube episode about it. And I rode here with a friend of mine. He's got a Royal Enfield Classic 350. Beautiful bike. And as we were walking through the back of the church, there's a beautiful old graveyard back here that we'll see that just has a tremendous number of really very historic gravestones. And there's a lot of the history here of a lot of the folks that were buried in this cemetery that go back to Civil War times, which was, as you can imagine, very impactful for this area. And a lot of the people that lived in this area were really caught up. They fought and died for really their rights within the Civil War, and otherwise known as the War Between the States. But as a YouTuber, for me, when I came to this church and this cemetery, I really felt a pull. I felt an energy about the church and about this particular mausoleum right here. And you'll notice it says J.B. Legree. And if we go inside, you'll see it has a couple of gravestones in here, and you'll see some notes that people have left, and coins have special meaning, and that's a whole nother story that we can get into. But you'll see a lot of different coins. There's dollar bills, there's shells, there's jewelry, there's a lot of different things here. But what I found out was I felt this energy that was really drawing me toward this mausoleum when I was here. And as I researched it, what I found out was the young lady that was initially buried in the mausoleum, she was down here visiting, and she became very ill and passed away. And when she passed away, as it was the occasion at the time, the burials were rather quick because they really did not have modern embalming methods and that type of thing, and therefore they buried her fairly quickly, and then the mausoleum was sealed up. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, there was another family member that died, and they went to open the mausoleum. And when they opened the mausoleum, they found the skeleton of Julia Legree by the door to the tomb, and evidently she had been buried alive. Very sad story. And after this additional family member was interred in the mausoleum, they sealed the door to the mausoleum, and they came back later only to find the door to the mausoleum was open. And they attempted to close the door several times, and the door kept coming open. So it was really quite a strange occurrence that this would happen here in this beautiful cemetery. And eventually they decided that this was the spirit of this Julia, who had been buried alive in this mausoleum, that was trying to get out and trying to make sure that no one else would be buried alive. The beauty of these stories just surrounds us everywhere. That story is just one example of what I've tried to do with YouTube, is to be able to show you some of these beautiful stories that exist everywhere around us. So that's a little bit about some of my YouTube journey, and I thought that the example of this beautiful Edisto Presbyterian Church and the story about Julia Legree that might be interesting for you. Beautiful. So that's a little bit about my YouTube journey. Maybe one little example. So, as mentioned, I've got my 4th trip to Baja California Sur coming up, and I've found a lot of little cities that I really love. A lot of great stories down there about the people, the culture, the places, out-of-the-way places like Mission San Javier outside of Loreto. First time I visited was right after a hurricane had passed through, and a tremendous amount of rock slides and water crossings to be able to get there. But places such as Isla Coronado, which is one of the islands off the coast of Loreto that has a resident colony of sea lions. Got to snorkel with them. Also, some of my favorite cities, La Paz, Los Barriles, and as mentioned, Todos Santos. So a lot of great things to see down there, and really my purpose was to travel and enjoy, but also to document my experiences in a way that might be interesting. So I should mention I'm not sponsored. I'm not monetized. My channel is close to being monetized. I do have 10,000 subscribers, so I feel like I'm on the right way and making progress, and that's been a lot of fun. The journey has been a lot of fun, but also a little frustrating in the way that YouTube promotes videos and pushes videos to some people or does not push them to some people. And so sometimes it's curious how two videos that might be very similar, one of them has a very broad reach and a very high watch time, and the other may have 20 views or something like that. So certainly that's curious how that can happen, and has caused me to try to do a lot of research into keywords and tags and structure of descriptions and what time of day you should publish, and should you publish to your subscribers or not. So there's a whole rabbit hole that you can go down through with that. And at the end of the day, I just want to document my experiences and to try to get the content out there for people to watch and maybe enjoy. And YouTube is a great forum for people to use. So hopefully some of my content maybe has been valuable for you, and I really would love any comments or feedback about any of the videos that I've produced. And I think one topic, maybe the last topic that I'd like to mention with regard to YouTube, is this whole concept of having a niche or no niche. And for me personally, I have a lot of different interest, whether that's motorcycles or scuba diving or traveling, or the wonderful trip that I took to Cuba this summer, or other types of things. So I know that if people are looking for a specific content, that my channel is going to be challenged to be able to get very high watch times, because my subject matter changes so frequently. And the way I have tried to overcome this is by creating a number of different playlists that focus on all of these different areas, whether it's motorcycles or scuba diving or Baja California Sur, whatever it might be. So hopefully if people are interested and they come to my channel, they can really come to these playlists and be able to focus on one major niche or another to be able to get the content that they're looking for. And that's the way I have approached it. So I know I could probably do better performance-wise if I, what they call, niched down to one specific niche or another. But on the other hand, for me, I don't think that would be authentic or genuine, and therefore I have not really done that. I've got A to Z of different topics, and I really, it's kind of funny, every time I start a video, I've got a bad habit of saying, and now something a little bit different, because every video is truly different. And one thing I've enjoyed as well, I've done some more historic videos about Charleston. One video that I really enjoyed putting together, but it was also a lot of work. It had to do the history of the Confederate submarine, the H.L. Hunley, and the first, second, and third crews of the H.L. Hunley that perished are buried in Charleston in beautiful Magnolia Cemetery, and I would really highly recommend that anyone that's interested in that type of thing definitely to visit Magnolia Cemetery. And there is also a beautiful small museum about the H.L. Hunley that I would highly recommend. And it has the actual H.L. Hunley submarine itself as it was salvaged in 2000. The actual submarine is housed, and it's being restored there in the museum. And maybe what is more interesting are the artifacts that were located on the remains of the last crew of the Hunley, and specifically the story about Lieutenant Dixon and the gold coin that was in his pocket that was given to him by his girlfriend from the Battle of Shiloh. So if you're interested in that story, go take a look at that video, because it is really quite a story and quite a remnant and artifact from Civil War times that really is ingrained and embedded in Charleston history and really the war between the states. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Edisto Beach. You can see the water trying to stand up to give you a little bit better view of it over there on the left-hand side. And one of the little-known facts about Edisto Island is that it is a pelican rookery. So you will very often see schools of pelicans flying up and down the coast, where they're teaching the young ones to ride the air currents and conserve energy and how to fly in formation. So hopefully we'll be able to see a school of pelicans flying up and down before we leave. The next order of business is lunch. There is one of my favorite restaurants up here called Whaley's. I'm just trying to think. I guess today is Monday, and I have a feeling that they are not open, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Absolutely beautiful day here today. Kind of crisp. I would say it's 55 or close to 60 degrees. Very thick, very creamy. Chunky. It's got some potatoes, tomatoes. Very good. I kind of got two appetizers. For starter, I got the shrimp and crab bisque. And then for the main course, I got the crab cake.
Your primary's coming. Sorry about that. I'll be just a second. Here you go, sweetie.
Thank you. Oh, that looks good. Just delivered the crab cake. That's what that looks like. And typically that's served with we've got a lemon wedge, and then they usually serve it with a remoulade, and it's served over a little bed of lettuce. Very good. I could have almost gotten a bowl of that. That's so good. It's got lots of bits of crab in it, and then bits of shrimp, and also had one whole shrimp in it as well. Very good. Like I say, I could have gone for a bowl of that. And then to drink, I just got half sweet tea and half unsweet tea. That helps dilute it down a little bit. Set that plate out of the way. Give you a little bit better view of that. There we go. And the reason I did that with the tea is that sometimes the sweet tea is so sweet it's almost like syrup.
I'll be right back. I'm just like...
That's pretty good. With crab cakes, it's always an issue of how much crab meat and how much filler there is, kind of what the ratio is. This I would probably say is maybe half and half, something like that. So half crab meat, half filler. You've got to have some filler in it just to kind of bind it all together. And typically the filler is bread. That's really good. The remoulade is just a little bit spicy. I'm going to sign off for now and finish this up, and I'll join you in just a bit. I just had a wonderful lunch at Whaley's. I've been here several times over the years. Again, used to be an old gas station, and have really good lunches. They used to have a really good. It was almost a like a low country boil with shrimp and crab and mussels and oysters all together, along with potatoes and corn. And it would all be cooked in a pot, usually with like Old Bay seasoning, that type of thing. And that was delicious. Unfortunately, they don't have that on the menu any longer, but that was that was really good. And objective now is to make our way back to Charleston. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up now. I also have one other special announcement for you. Coming up in just about a month, I'll be returning to Baja California Sur, Mexico. Really looking forward to it. Main objective of the trip is whale watching on the Pacific coast, little town of Puerto San Carlos, but I'll also be hitting a lot of the cities on the East Coast, La Paz, Loreto, Los Barriles, so really looking forward to that. So please stay tuned to the channel as I return back to Baja. I hope you're enjoying this content that I'm bringing you. If you are, please give me a like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear any comments that you might have. Thanks. Have a great day.